to the ITSAD Disability Center. My name is Asbeta Ochieng. So here at the ITSAD Disability Center, we advocate, inform, and educate people and the community at large about disabilities, especially the unseen disabilities. Have you heard of bipolar? Well, I haven't. Join me and my panelists as we discuss more about bipolar. So join us, enjoy, and learn. So in today's discussion, we'll be having Faith Nyaboke, Christine Miloyo, Elizabeth Manyeni,
Fidelis Jockey, and my sign name is Two Fingers on the Forehead.
And our sign language interpreter will be Maniki Ngatia. So we are discussing bipolar. Is bipolar a disease? Is it a condition? Is it a disorder? What is it?
It is a disorder, meaning that something in your body is not the way it's supposed to be. It is not a disease, given that it is a condition that you can manage. That is why we don't call it a disease. We call it a disorder because it is the neurotransmitters in your body which are not working.
Okay, so what time or what year can you spot that your child or has bipolar?
Basically, the signs start to exhibit themselves from the age of 20 years.
Age of 20 years. So
20 years and above.
Are you trying to say that it is not, children do not exhibit these signs of bipolar disorder?
In as much as they are there, they are really dormant in the body. For instance, there's sleep disturbances, but they are not as intense as they will be in later years. Let's say the later teenage years, for instance, 18, 19, 20 years.
Okay. Yes. That's good to know. Are there types of disorder? Can someone have different types of disorder?
For bipolar disorders, we have two types. We have bipolar disorder 1 and bipolar disorder type 2. For type 1, it is whereby we have, let me take us back a bit. We have the maniac episode whereby one has intense energy and a high level of motivation. And then we have the depressive episode whereby one has a low motivation. They are basically depressed, they are withdrawn, and they do not have any need to participate in anything that interested them before that. So if I can explain bipolar type 1 is whereby we have a longer maniac episode, that is one is hyperactive for a longer period. For instance, it can last for close to 8 months in an year, and the depressive episode lasts a shorter time, which is 4 months. And then for bipolar type 2, it's basically the opposite, whereby the depressive episode is longer. It can last for 6 to 8 months, and the maniac episode lasts for 4 to 6 months. And we can also have a mix of the two, whereby one experiences the maniac episodes together with the depressive episodes, something we call rapid cycle.
Okay. For to my understanding, basically what you as people know in our little understanding about bipolar, we didn't know that it's monthly. It's like something that goes on for a month. I think for the information that we have outside here is 1 minute I'm happy, the next minute I'm depressed. So like the two don't exhibit itself in a day, or it has to be like monthly or
No. I said overally, but basically the way you're saying it's 1 minute you're happy, 1 minute you're sad, but that also affects your moods. Therefore, I tried to put it as an episode. An episode means a longer period of time whereby you exhibit a continuous, you exhibit certain symptoms continuously over continuous period.
So is bipolar just, does it just deals with your moods? Is it just about mood swings?
Yes, it is a mood disorder.
Happiness and sadness. That's
extreme happiness and extreme sadness. There is no in between.
Okay, so actually I've interacted with the different types of disability, mostly physical, the deaf, and visual, but I've never interacted with somebody with bipolar. So is it some kind of depression? Like, is bipolar related to depression?
Yes, it is related to depression, and we can call it a psychosocial disability because it affects your social interaction when you're depressed, and it's also psychological, given that it also affects the way your brain works and how you're wired to take things, for instance, marriage, relationships, workplace, and also how happy or sad you are at one particular time.
Okay, because when you go out there, we normally advocate for different types of disability, but we normally concentrate on the physical bit. But we leave out those people with bipolar and the unseen disabilities. So I think the community quite never understands people with the unseen disabilities. They feel maybe they are like pretending, they feel like, I don't know, but like people are still not familiar with the unseen disabilities. But today I've also learned about the bipolar disorder, and I'm really happy to know more about it.
Speaking of community, of course, there are myths, there are things that people believe that bipolar disorder happens to. Okay, how people with this bipolar disorder they behave and what not. So, what myths are related to this bipolar disorder?
The ones I've heard, it's like the common term that we normally call them the wendawazimu, which is a very wrong term, because we will realize later on that all the unseen disabilities, the things that people do not really understand, they categorize it to wendawazimu, or they are normally thrown on the streets. You get it? So first things first, they'll just be considered as people who are mentally retarded. Secondly, you will find that these are the people that we say they seek too much attention. They are attention seekers. This is somebody who is really pretending she needs my time and all those things. But then you come and realize people who had hysteria and all these things when we were back in school. Because I remember there's a girl in school who had hysteria, and later on I'm seeing that she had signs of bipolar anyway, but I didn't have the knowledge. But so those are the cases that are not outside, the people do not really understand. So we tend, our culture is in an African setup, let me say, the things we do not understand, we tend to relate it with curses and so many things that are surrounding them. Like this person maybe did something, that's why they are this way, or their family did something, that's why they are this way, or too much studies we've had of people who later, even the people with schizophrenia, will hear that these are people who did something that's why the ghosts are living inside them. So I think they're too much. Maybe Christine can add on what she's heard about it.
Yes, Kristen. What I've heard is that people with bipolar have been bewitched. This is because it reaches a time one is able to bark, one can bark like a dog, or produce signs, like
Someone with
an
bipolar?
animal. Yes,
Okay.
they can bark like a dog, especially when they are psychotic. Psychosis is whereby there is extreme anxiety, and it reaches a point whereby the body and the mind they cannot go together. It's like the mind is racing faster than the body. So it reaches a time one can be able to mimic the sounds like maybe a hen, a dog. So most people say, hey, this one is bewitched. It also reaches a time one doesn't even realize they're naked or they're having clothes. So they can remove all the clothes and start walking naked. Then when they start mimicking, when they start doing repetitive actions like maybe removing the clothes, putting them on, carrying the shoes, maybe putting them on the head, so they can be called that they are mentally retarded when Wazimu, as she says, lunatics. So all those are misconceptions and myths. It is something that can be managed.
Okay, one more myth I've heard about several disabilities is that disability is hereditary. So I know you have kids. Does any of your children have bipolar? Like, is it hereditary? Is it genetics? Anybody in your family who has the bipolar disorder, maybe? Because that's one of the myths. Like, if one of your family member had bipolar, then definitely one of your kids has to have it.
So it's like an
It's not a really a
inherited
myth.
gene.
It's not a
It's a
really a myth,
reality.
but it's one of the causes. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why. Like when you're trying to find what are the causes of any disability, first you have to go to the roots. Where does it have to come from for us to understand why this person? Because going back, we as individuals are a fruit or a meeting or a combination of both our fathers and our mothers who have various genetic compositions. So that's why they go back and say maybe this is inheritance because we inherit some genetic compositions from our lineages. That's why you hear that there's a disability that is hereditary.
Anything, Fidelis, you've heard of any myth about
So I've heard about food, and I thought about food maybe because the different foods that can maybe make the body have a different reactions. So maybe we can talk about it.
Different foods that is.
Maybe they trigger, more like saying alcohol or drinks or something.
Let's not talk about drugs first.
Yeah.
Let's talk about food, because for drugs it's just another topic on itself. So does food affect?
For food, it's a myth. There's some people who say that if your mother took a lot of eggs when they were pregnant,
Oh,
chances are you give birth to a person who is like everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've had the myth too, when I've had it. Baba, you're being told that do not take a lot of eggs. I think you should take 3 in a month. I've had those myths. Huh?
3
Yeah,
eggs
yeah.
in a
Even
month.
when children are born, you hear this child has a lot of hair because I don't know, the mother ate this, and you're not supposed to take sugar cane. You're not supposed to. There are so many myths that are really, but to some extent, I believe it to some extent. To some extent, there is.
You
some
believe the
truth.
myth?
Yeah, to some extent, I do.
If I can go back to the hereditary point that she was talking about. Yeah, bipolar disorder is hereditary and it can also be congenital. Like for myself, my bipolar is congenital, given that my environment has contributed to the post-traumatic stress disorder that I have, and also it is hereditary. My mom has it.
For PTSD, which is the post-traumatic stress disorder, is it
It is
bipolar or
it's
an
a
episode?
component.
It's a component of bipolar.
Yes.
So, like somebody can have PTSD and not have bipolar, and vice versa.
Yes.
Okay.
So bipolar does not come alone. Either you can have bipolar combined with PTSD, together with maybe, like for me, I have PTSD, obsessive compulsive disorder, together with acute deficit hyperactive disorder. Yes, ADHD.
So how is this bipolar disorder diagnosed?
It is diagnosed through a series of questions by a psychiatrist. They ask you the symptoms that you're having in the last few days. Have you been able to sleep well? How is your appetite? How is your motivation to do things? Your energy level? Drug and substance abuse? The hereditary factor that you talked about? The extreme anxiety? It's just a series of questions. And maybe if they want to do a further blood test, that is when they will test the neurotransmitters that have a problem, and they'll be able to diagnose the level of the bipolar disorder, whether it is very severe or very mild.
Okay, so does drug abuse, a person with bipolar, if they take drugs, does it affect the normal functioning of the body? Does it affect their moods?
Yes, it does. So you see, like for bipolar disorder, it is the subconscious part of the brain that is bigger than any other part of the brain. And when you drink, your subconscious part of the brain is like, let's say it sleeps. So you can imagine somebody with bipolar disorder taking a lot of alcohol. Yeah, it's like they just become something else. They cannot even think straight. That's what we call rational thinking, that they can end up missing things.
Okay, and another myth about drug abuse and bipolar. Is it true that when your parent was taking a lot of alcohol, will it affect the baby? Does it affect the baby?
Now, given that it is hereditary, alcohol, maybe there's that alcohol syndrome, but bipolar is not related to that.
Okay, going back, when it comes to drug abuse and stuff, and people with, as you say, people with bipolar are the subconscious part of the brain is bigger, therefore more active, right?
Yes.
So let's go back to what is happening to our country at the moment. Like now, people who are now committing murder. And like our youths, that is one of the most serious things that we have at the moment. Do you think these are people who could be having bipolar and it's undiagnosed? Because that is what I think. Like these are people who have a mental issue. Because I don't think somebody subconsciously can walk from somewhere to somewhere without. Because for a normal person, that I think the brain functions in the type of way that it's supposed to function, you will have that snapping. You'll have that snapping moment that will come to reality. But for persons with bipolar, it takes longer. That's why for me, I think that this could be people who had it and they were undiagnosed. That's why it takes them longer to come back to reality. That's why they'll commit the crime or they'll do whatever they are doing and not really realize that they were in the moment of Maniac episode. Could it be during that episode? That's why we are having these cases.
Yes, it could be. What I can say, when one is in the Maniac episode, it's like you lose yourself. It's like you're two persons in one. So that time it's like you become so aggressive, you become so violent, like you can go to a place, do ABCDE, and you cannot even remember. And that's the time when you are really irritable and the anger level is really high, especially when you hot-tempered or short-tempered. You can really do something that you end up regretting later on. And the fact that many people often have bipolar disorder and it's not diagnosed, chances are they can go and kill and they will deny it. Especially those who also have double split personality combined with bipolar disorder. It is like you live with a person in the house and you don't even know their character. In the house, they are different person altogether. So they can go and kill and also do premeditated things that maybe they even have no idea that they did it. So it's really good that the public can be able to know the signs of bipolar, how to be diagnosed, and they start treatment early enough. It will be able to help them. The transition between the episodes, it will be easier, and the symptoms will not be as intense as they were before.
Okay, is there a way, or while in hospital, in hospital for the mothers who have just given birth, is there, are they told, are they educated about these disabilities and disorders so that when they go home they can know if their child has these unseen disabilities?
For Kenya, we have not reached that level, but we have a test called the ECG test that tests the hormones in the body and the neurotransmitters levels in the body. So countries in the West, they're able to know early enough if your child, especially if you have a history of such disorders. So the likelihood of getting getting a child with that disorder is really high. So if an ECG test, if you have the cash and it can be done early enough, you can be able to be put on therapy early enough so that an explosion of the symptoms does not come later on in life and it messes up.
But as disability, we've been trying to do that. We've been trying to we've been trying to go to the hospitals because we realized that there's a gap. For us, even in schools, we didn't even have this information. To date, even people get into relationships without knowing that their spouse or their partner could be going through the same. And as she said, since it exhibits itself later in life, you get confused. You don't really know, and most people do not even know what they're experiencing. Somebody will just tell you, like, I don't know what is going on with my body. I don't know what's going on in my head. And considering the pressure that we're really going on, what we're going through now, the economy, no jobs, all these things could be triggers, right? They could be a trigger to the symptoms of the signs of bipolar. So I think the government, basically, or people or institutions should have a policy whereby it really accommodates persons and be like really willing to listen. Okay, let's say it even to the employment sectors. You will find that once somebody has an issue, a little bit of an issue, whether even it's pregnancy, let's not even go to the mental health cases. As simple, even an accident itself can lead to one being fired. So just imagine an employer getting to learn that one of my employees has a mental health issue. The immediate thing is like, at this person one day wake up and now stab everybody because people don't have this information outside there. The imagination that we have about mental health is like these are people who are very destructive. These are people who cannot be of benefit to the society. But as you've seen, like when you see Christine, you can't know that she has bipolar. Yeah.
Okay, but then you see that.
I also wanted to ask a question. So people with bipolar, do they always have a lot of urination? The second question is, does it always affect women or also men? And also, women with bipolar, do they also get pregnant?
Okay, let me begin with the last question, whether they get pregnant. So during this week, Faith can tell us, I really talked about mental health and estrogen levels in the body. So we have a high level of estrogen. So the high level of estrogen is what motivates us to do even more, and the hypersexuality. So There are some with the high estrogen levels, the progesterone levels are very, very low, so one cannot be able to hold a pregnancy. They also have other conditions such as PCOS, it's an infertility syndrome, and also some also have endometriosis, fibroids. So it varies from one person to another. And from the research that I've done, many men have bipolar than women. But our signs are more intense given we have more hormones than men. So the disadvantage that we'll face because of bipolar, they're even more than men. And then about frequent urination that I don't even know. Maybe if somebody has another condition besides bipolar. I think the other one was about that.
Is there a question that has been answered?
Yes,
Yeah.
you have answered. Thank you.
So, Christine, can two bipolar people date? Can you date somebody with bipolar? And if yes, how will you like interact in the house? Do you need like a caretaker? And if no, why?
So for instance, like myself, dating a person maybe with bipolar 1, chances of us not getting along together is really high.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
when they are really, really hypersexual, they are really, really violent. Chances of maybe them beating me up, because most of the time mine is mild, it is very, very high. But for the people I know who've dated and they have bipolar, the chances of them getting a child who exhibits very, very extreme signs of bipolar, it is very, very high and it is not advisable. Chances of them killing each other, it is really, really high, and also them harming each other. Therefore, it is not advisable. But I would advise, if at all they want to marry each other, maybe bipolar 2 people, the one that is really mild, and they need to be on treatment and therapy so that the transition between the episodes can be managed, and they also need to have a caretaker in the house.
If, for example, if I would like to date somebody with bipolar, what should I have in mind?
You should have in mind that each and every day I'm unpredictable. We are supposed to have a date. I can just wake up like this. I don't feel like getting out of bed.
Okay.
I will disappoint you. You can give me money to pay rent. If I feel like today I want to go and treat my girls, I will go and buy them everything I feel like. If today I just feel like that I don't want to see you again, and
You
I want
just
maybe
break
some
the
other
relationship.
person, I just break the relationship.
So it's really complicated.
So the mood swings that women are accused of having.
Could be
As
some-
it is each and every other.
Because I've had people joking, like, for example, in a relationship, and then somebody is like, but I hear your guy, you have bipolar, you know, because of the different. So, how, because I believe you guys, people with bipolar are addictive, right? They're addictive. What is the thing that you believe as an individual that people are very cautious about? Because you have kids, definitely you've been in a relationship, right? So what is that thing that people or the guy you dated had an issue with?
One thing, we are very social. And the kind of friends we have are of the opposite sex, not of the same sex.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Is there a reason to
I do not know, but for us, they like poles with girls. So they are like poles we attract. And when the hypersexual, you have a string of friends who can sort you out when need arises. So therefore, even ladies will not love to know that you had a fling with your guy. So chances of ladies not liking you, especially even your sisters, because I have a friend who, when it reached a time, they're hypersexual and they wanted to hit back. There's a lady who slept with the daughter's boyfriend.
What?
Together with the brother to the husband, together with the best friend to the husband.
What?
Just to finish the guy completely. She was bipolar.
What pushed your friend to do all that? Was she in an abusive relationship with the spouse? Did the spouse not understand she's bipolar or anything? What pushed her to do all that?
What I can say is that the lady had anger issues. So that day they had an agreement concerning bills in the house. So she used that as an outlet to get to the husband, since she knew that he would get hurt, and and that's why she did it.
Okay, so bipolar really affects how you relate with the people all over, family, relationship-wise, workmates.
Yes, it does, because there are some behaviors that are really irritating. For instance, there is a time I never used to stay at my mom's place for some time. So I just used to go and my clothes are dirty. I don't even feel like washing them. I just go and pick my sister's, the best clothes, that's the clothes that I take. At times, maybe it is money I just take without even asking for it. So there are some behaviors, or maybe like the way I have told you, you make up with somebody who is not even yours, and you hurt the person really bad. So there are some behaviors which, given that we cannot control ourselves, they tend to hurt another person, and you don't even know, and you cannot even admit that you're sorry. So this causes a lot of friction in families, also at the workplace, whereby maybe you come late at all times. Maybe there is a time you just feel like you don't even want to come to work. So those, they create a lot of friction.
So, Fidelis and Elizabeth, have you two interacted with anyone with bipolar? Recently, at least, I've learned about the deaf persons and the visually impaired persons in the community. I'm still learning on autism, and today it's actually my first time to interact with somebody with bipolar and to at least get your experience as a person with disability. Because we always encourage like registration with the National Council for Persons with Disability, which is a government body that registers persons with disability. So I'm not even sure if the government is aware of bipolar persons and if they are supposed to be registered. Maybe I don't know.
Are you registered?
Is the government?
No, for me, I want to register in the course of next month. Since it is considered as a psychosocial disability, even as you are encouraged to take the disability card so that you can get waivers when you go for medication and treatment.
Okay.
And also, when you get in trouble, people can be able to know the kind of people they are dealing with, and there are some things you do without even knowing.
Okay. So Videlis.
I've not interacted with a person with bipolar. I've only read about this and also about maybe employment just presenting. So when I read about this, I understand that it was not so clear since I have not interacted with the person. But when I even interact with her, I've even understood clearly what I was already.
Okay, something else I really need to ask is, can a person with a different disability, like a visible disability, can they also have bipolar?
Yes.
Yes.
think
We
you
normally
can.
have what we call multiple
I think
multiple
yes.
disability.
I think yes.
Yes.
Because we have somebody who is deaf and blind.
Yeah.
They can't see and they can't hear. Those are multiple disabilities. There's also a woman who has a physical disability. One of her legs is a bit shorter than the other one, and she's blind. So those are multiple disabilities. So, okay, Christine, I'm just referring. Christine can be seated there. She can go have maybe she involved in an accident and she can have the physical disability.
Another thing, the problem that we have is some nerves in the body are shorter than ours. So like for us, the auditory nerve, the one for the ears, is longer than the optical nerve. The optical nerve is the one that is responsible for eyesight. Therefore, chances of us going blind, they are very, very high.
Wow, like Christian, you really learn it. Like you unaelewa like what you're living, because unajua it's easier for you. Sasa I believe mtu kaa wewe ukituexplainia unajielewa, na ule mtu mwenye hajielewi, mtu ajui what is happening in their life sasa, because like journey yako basically after umediagnosiwa ilibidi umesoma uelewe, because I understand you guys are GT and not you are like academically relevant and you are aware. Can you tell us about the education, like when your education ilikuwa?
Oh, my education has been a challenge, especially when it came to campus. Especially after the post-traumatic stress disorder, after I lost my son while I was in campus. My boyfriend ran away, plus I deferred my education for one semester. I deferred for close to 4 years. And but still, I still got a first class.
Wow.
So yeah, I was pursuing environmental studies and community development. Yeah, and also because socially, I was an introvert from childhood. But when I thought that the PTSD was coming to an end, that is when I became hyperactive. That is when there's phase of acute hyperactive deficient disorder came in. That is when I became overactive, over motivated. I just became somebody else altogether, and that is what caused my education to delay for some time. So that has really costed me, especially when it comes to looking for a job. You explain to an employer why you took 8 years in campus, they just don't see the essence of it all, and they see you have nothing to offer them. So in as much as I have that first class, reaping the benefits of that certificate has been quite a challenge. Even getting a job, I've really faced discrimination, especially at the workplace and also in organizations where I sought help. I can give some examples. For instance, I went for a course to be able to work in the bank as a customer care representative and as a teller. So apparently I was among the ones who performed really well because my GPA was really high. So I thought everything would go smooth for me. So we did the test, I passed so well, we did the training. When it came to the vetting of the documents, so they asked, why did you take 8 years in campus? I had to be frank and tell them. So after a week, that's when the emails came. People are so excited, yeah, I've been posted at this branch, I've been posted here and here. For me, it was a regret. They told me the reason, because of a mental condition, you cannot work in the bank.
Wow.
So is it true that the people with bipolar disorder are being discriminated?
Yes, they are. Like, you see, the problem with us, we sleep for fewer hours. We are wired to sleep for 4 hours only, and for 20 good hours, we can be able to work with machines.
Wow.
So that's the problem that we have, and that means for 7 days a week, by the time you guys are midweek, we've done the entire work for the entire week, and we need to rest.
So employers should be taking that as a benefit, because basically I will take you any time. If you're going to do something that you're supposed to finish in a week, in 3 days or 2 days, then why not reap the benefits at the end of the day?
But here in Kenya, whereby you're supposed to work from Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, they will not hear that I can be able to do like 2 shifts in a day. They wouldn't listen to that. That is why I wanted to encourage each and every employer, each and every family member to go for psychotherapy classes. They're offered free of charge in mental hospitals. Psychotherapy classes, they are classes that encourage people to learn how to interact with persons with bipolar, getting to know the triggers, getting to know the warning signs, getting to know how they can be able to support people with bipolar to live productively, and how to be able to accommodate the needs of persons with bipolar in each and every activity that they have.
Speaking of which, we have not gone to these classes yet. Most of us have myths, things they believe bipolar people would do, but then we want to know the symptoms, the real symptoms of bipolar. How can we know that this person, through doing this person has bipolar?
So to begin with, racing thoughts, whereby right now I'm thinking about my friend here. Next, I'm thinking about maybe June, they're supposed to have a date. Next, I'm thinking about work. As in so many thoughts.
All at the same time.
All at the same time. My mind is here, my mind is here, my mind is here. I cannot even concentrate on something. Another thing is because of the racing thoughts, speaking quickly that you cannot even understand what it is that I'm saying. So that shows that an episode is about to check in, and mostly it is needed.
So what really happens when an episode checks in?
Yeah,
Like
how do you behave? How do you behave? Your experience, how, like, which is the worst experience umekuwa nayo ya like maniac or psycho?
So for me, I'll give 2 examples. To begin with was the psychosis episode that got me admitted in London for 2 weeks. That's the time President Obama had come to Kenya. I had really written a very beautiful thing. I wanted to go and recite to him. And that is the day the psychosis set in. I had so many issues that I was dealing with. To begin with, I was a research assistant. I was doing a lot of research. So that time I was doing a research for a computer science student on cybersecurity. That was 1. 2, I also had a daytime job that was paid. 3, being a single mother, I had gotten into a relationship, but the guy was really stressing me up. He was cheating on me. So those are 3 things that were really stressing me up, plus financial issues. I had to make ends meet.
So is it that all these things are the ones that were bringing these episodes?
So what happened is I did not sleep for 1 full week. Like I was researching, yes. I was researching during the night, during the day I'm at work. And the work I was doing was procurement. It is totally different from what I'm doing. What I came to realize, the kind of work that we do, we need to do like the social work jobs. When it comes to the figures, things to do with figures. It stretches the mind too much that it exhausts the energy from the brain, and chances of you maybe getting into depression, it is very, very high. So that is what is happening. Plus I wasn't eating very well, so it is like the glucose in the brain that's normally recycled, so it's like it was expended imeisha kabisa yote. So that is when the brain iliruka sasa. So I started doing the repetitive actions that I was talking about. For me, I was in pajamas, and there was a certain radio that was being screwed. I was taking it, putting it under my armpit, and just dancing like a small baby. As if the mind, it's like it was rewinded to when I was young. So I started dancing. I started being very funny. So in my mind, I was saying, hey, it's like I'm related to Obama, because he even Uko Ushago, he comes from around our area. So after he's done, he'll come and visit us. After I'll say to him the poem, he'll take me together with the daughters. We'll go and visit Nairobi National Park. So those are illusions. Something that is out of this world. You are not in touch with reality. So I was like, okay, he will come. We'll go and visit. From there, he will put me in the plane. I also packed my stuff. We will go together to the US. So it became very, very much serious. My mom saw, this is not serious, because I was talking things that even the accent changed totally. So it like I became somebody else altogether. And also I thought that, hey, now I can also be a presenter. I started talking just like a presenter, especially. I have a certain laptop that looks like a tablet. I was holding it like this, talking the news, informing him about everything that's been happening in the country. My mom, enyewe niliwachokesha kabisa. An entire night they did not sleep. And that is the day my baby daddy had come. He wanted us to watch him. So what they did together with his relatives, they had come. So him, he just saw, because he's a mental health specialist, he just saw the way I am. He was like, hey, but him, he just went. Whatever they wanted to say, they did not say. So that evening, things became worse. I started becoming violent. Wananinyang'anya hiyo radio bado nachukua. So they took me to hospital. Just one night, I broke things worth 25,000 shillings. Oh. They were sedating me. I sleep. I cannot stay down. I move all clothes. I was doing all sorts of things, and that's how I got my referral to the hospital.
The medicine wasn't working?
No, and I wasn't even eating. I even started cleaning and arranging that hospital.
Wow.
So the OCD checked me. Obsessive compulsive disorder, whereby you just feel like arranging things in a certain order. And I even slapped the nurses, the doctors. I was doing very, very bad things. So that's when they just wrote for me a referral to Madare Hospital. Yeah, and at Madare I was sedated. They injected me methadone. Methadone is a certain kind of chemical that's found in heroin and those ones to keep me active. So I happened to sleep for 2 good days without waking up. My parents, they told you just leave her here, scared of her. And that's how I woke up and found myself in a ward surrounded by very, very scary looking old women.
Old?
Very old. Apparently I was the young one.
Okay, do you remember all these things afterwards?
Because even in the hospital, people could say, hey, these others, they look sick, but this girl is not sick. Because I used to go to a corner and just hold myself like this. Look at people. It's like I went to that hospital to meditate. People are being given those medicines, they sleep. For me at night, I really saw very, very ugly things that happen in that hospital. So that's psychosis. So this other one, I can say it was mania. So when I was in 4th year, my mom told me, here is your school fees. I went and withdrew money from the higher education school. It was around 25,000. She gave me an additional 10K. She told me, you feel like eating that money? You go and eat. And that's what I did.
What were you eating?
I need a makeover. Not eating, I need a makeover. I was going and buying designer clothes. Designer shoes, makeup. Hata lipstick sikuwa najua kupaka. Nikaenda kununua. Nikanunua mascara. Vitu zenye naonanga nikanunua shades. Nywele nikaenda kununua. Very expensive place. Nikashop, nikajiambia, when people are in 4th year, wanakuanga na kazi. Hawaishiki kwa hostel. Wacha nijikaze nitafute kazi, itakuwa inanilipia hata nitahama kwa hiyo hostel. And that's what I did. I went and got a very nice job in a certain organization as a data entry specialist. But your job sikumaliza hata 3 days.
Oh no. And Christine, you said your mom also had bipolar. Did she also have the same attacks? Because from how you talk, I feel like your mom is no longer bipolar.
Yes,
She's no longer bipolar.
So it can help. It can. I think it can. Because my dad told me that normally after pregnancy, after you deliver, the hormones are not able to balance themselves. So chances of you sinking into depression or psychosis at the same time, it is very high. So for her, it happened after she had gotten our firstborn. So that's when he took her for treatment. I think they did for her the hormonal test, and I think she was injected with the artificial hormones. And she's good now. She has
So
never
how
had
do
that
we
episode.
treat? How is bipolar treated? Is it purely therapeutic? Is it purely medical?
I cannot say purely medical or purely therapeutic, but it works differently for many people. Like for me, self-care, even what I'm doing right now is self-care. Just talking about what I've gone through help me offload my mind. So that is also part of therapy, self-care. Plus, I love writing a lot, journaling. So even those journals, they are also part of it. And then going camping with children is also part of that. And for medication, yeah, we have medicine for that to try and balance the hormones in the body. But the medicines also have side effects. Like for instance, weight gain, a lot of weight gain, and then having suicidal ideation. So whereby you just feel like people telling you, you're very useless, just kill yourself. Then you get it.
Does it, because if you say suicidal hurdles, easy in me, yes, schizophrenia. Could it be like kind of related?
Yes, something like that. You just feel like it's people, voices in your head telling you, do this and this and this and this.
And this is all brought with the medicine.
The medicine. Okay. So it is good you talk to your psychiatrist. They tell you that you tell them if they tell you that the side effects to be expected are this and this and this. So I would support. I would encourage a mix of the two, medical and also therapeutic effects such as journaling. Also, if you can volunteer with certain organizations, in as much as you can be unemployed, you can go and volunteer so that your skills don't go to waste, and you can have something that will distract you from maybe if it's the drugs are causing, the medication is causing you to have suicidal ideation. Suicidal ideation is whereby you think of ending your life because some voices in your head are telling you you're worthless, nobody needs you here, and they lead you to somewhere where you can go, somewhere and something that you can use to end your life. Other medication, they have side effects such as adding on too much weight. So for therapy, you can choose to go to the gym or even do aerobics or even do athletics or even choose a game that you can play to be able to shed off that extra weight. And also for voices in the head, there are some that cause voices in the head whereby you hear things and people speaking to you in the head. So for that, there is also another kind of treatment whereby they're able to undo the changes of the medications that have done to your body.
So Elizabeth and Fidelis, anything to add on this?
Yes, I have two questions. The first one. So I want to know a person who has bipolar. Do they have a long lifespan or a short span? The second question. I also want to know what has motivated you to speak here outside.
Or to begin with, about the lifespan, bipolar is just a condition like any other. But with medication, you can be able to live a normal life. We can be able to live a normal life. Like for me, I have not had a relapse. A relapse is whereby the symptoms become more intense like they were before. I have not had a relapse from 2015 to date. So that means I'm living a normal life. And the transitions from the maniac episode to the depressive episode has been smooth all along. So I can be able to know when I'm just going to get into depression or I'm about to get maniac. It doesn't just happen abruptly. I'm able to know. So I can say that they can die from any other illness, any other condition, any other like accident, like any other person, the normal like any other person. And what motivated me to speak about my condition is I've always wanted to be a neurosurgeon. So I usually look at this as a way of pursuing my passion as a neurologist, just getting to learn more about the brain and how it works and getting to help people, given that I'm a social worker, helping people out there by making them aware of whatever it is that is ailing them. Like issues with bipolar and mental health in the African setting, it's a taboo, and very few people know about it. So I look at it as a way of giving back to the community, and it's also therapeutic for me. That is what has motivated me so far.
Okay. And oh, sorry, Christine. Okay. I've been thinking. You shared with us that persons with bipolar are hypersexual. Yes.
Yes.
So I'm kind of thinking. Do you normally have like the sexual reproductive health classes, maybe sessions where at least they talk to persons with bipolar, like when engaged in this, at least so that they can know their bodies and know the
How to protect themselves.
yes, how to protect themselves.
So for that, maybe it depends on the kind of psychiatrist that you have. They usually tell us make sure that you won't get pregnant because it will be a trigger for another depression or a psychosis episode. So they normally tell us make sure you have a family planning method in place, because also our menses at times they can be quite cumbersome because they're irregular. So that's what they usually say. So when it comes to HIV and bipolar, the prevalence rate is very, very high, since most people with bipolar are hypersexual and rarely use protection. And that is why the sexually transmitted diseases and HIV is high. Also because there are some who also self-medicate with the methadone that is contained in heroin and cocaine. They also, because of the self-injecting that they share with other people, and some of them are homeless, so it also spreads the HIV virus.
And having bipolar does not mean that one is confined to something specifically. Do we have any person or people who have had successful lives like you? I believe you have had a successful life.
She is.
Yeah. Do we have any people that people out there can relate to?
So, for bipolar, you have multiple abilities. In as much as people cannot employ you, there are those who use their talents to be able to raise income for themselves. Like Kanye West, who is a hip hop, is it?
Yeah.
A hip hop artist, and Mariah Carey, who's one of the best R&B artists all over the world. They have put out themselves there in terms of music. They've been able to do so much. They've been able to build their brand globally, and this has been able to provide for them something that they are able to look up to each other every day. In as much as it is therapeutic for them, it has also enabled them to show us that we can still live productively. That having bipolar is not a death sentence. Yes, we may have suicidal ideations, but they are able to protect themselves and carry themselves in a dignified way out there. So what I can say that is there are so many other people out there who are doing great things. They may not be recognized, but they have bipolar and are living productively because they have therapeutic means and medical means to be able to deal with it.
So due to time limits, I'll just have final remarks from all of you, my panel, starting from Faith.
Okay, what you can say is that our society should be accommodative. We should be willing to learn. Let's have the discussion. Let's relate. And at the end of the day, an empowered nation empowers every individual at the end of the day.
What I would like to say is such forums such as this, they go a long way in educating people who've never had anything about bipolar. And since it's a taboo subject here in Africa, here in Kenya and in Africa, it helps to demystify some myths that are associated with bipolar. So what I will say is, for bipolar to be able to be managed in the country, we need to accept that people have this illness, have this condition, and two, they need to be included in each and every area of development. They should not be alienated and locked up in mental institutions.
So for my part in short, we actually have good policies on disability. We have the Persons with Disabilities Act in Kenya and the UNCRPD, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Let us use these policies to implement whatever is in the policy. Let us use them so that we can create an equal environment for everyone with disability or without disability. So let's use these policies and implement them on the ground. Thank you so much, Christine, for a very educative session.
I also want to thank Christine for teaching us and also creating awareness about bipolar. I hope that it is also the same for our viewers, that they have been able to learn from her.
Okay, so that's it all from our panel, and they have educated us a lot. And yes, parents at home, we do not need to lock up our kids. We do not need to look at them as if they are not normal anymore. We have had an educative session of knowing more about the bipolar disorder. So I hope that you are not going to be discouraged. You have to do all that you want to do. Do not consider having a disability as an inability. Do not let it degrade you or people look down upon you. Yeah, so that's it. Our sign language interpreter has been Manic Ngatia, and here at ITSAD Disability Center, we love, care, and empower. So tune in for more discussions.